on the lower rung when it comes to people that are adept at blippy bloppy computery blips and blops. So I'll wait to see that Elsa is saying, Dave, you look and sound unbelievable. And Dave, you have a lot of CDs behind you. Dave, you have a water softener next to your hi-hat. And see, she's not getting back to me on this. She's not saying, Dave, you have a water softener on your hi-hat. There it comes. Some note just appeared, as in maybe it's her saying it's not working. Oh, there she is. What's it say?
Raymond L. says woo.
Okay. So I'm seeable. I'm seenable right now. Is Elsa there? There comes some notes. Okay. Did everybody hear me about the water softener? One thing I can say before I introduce myself is I recommend having a water softener near your drum kit if you're a drummer. It provides a peripheral presence of almost like a monolith, like the 2001 film, where you have this presence near you, and it makes you feel like you're being watched, maybe by a former teacher, by an authority figure, the police, whatever. But out of the corner of your eye, you've got something that's life-size next to you. I recommend a water softener because they work very late at night, so they probably won't make any sound. And then, a furnace will go rah and charge in on your sort of oral landscape. And water softener is just this muted kind of thing here that's just sort of like in your peripheral. I'm going to sit and talk about this for a while. I'm going to introduce myself now. My name's Dave King. I really, really hope this is transmitting somewhere to someone. It's an abstract thing along with everything else. Got a few CDs behind me. I'm inspired by listening to music and then trying to make my own music. And I've been doing that since I was very young. I started playing piano when I was 5 and drums when I was 9. I ordered a pair of drumsticks out of the Cub Scout magazine Boy's Life, which was a very high vibrating organization for me. I mean, I placed near dead last, if not dead last, in the Pinewood Derby. And I was left out in the woods a couple of times. I never made it to Boy Scouts. I was in Cub Scouts. And I was forced to do it. So my father was in the military, and he thought it was a good idea for me to get badges for doing things and stuff. And that's probably the last time I won anything, actually, was in the Cub Scouts. I didn't win anything. I earned it. I used to do things like take groceries to people's cars. And then I used to huff paint with my older brother behind the Cub Scout leader's house. I'm gonna play some drums. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I can't really see the questions or if there's any comments yet. I'm gonna look in a minute after I play. But I'm a founding member of the band The Bad Plus, and also another jazz group called Happy Apple. I also perform a lot with Julian Lodge lately, and Craig Taborn, and Joshua Redman, and other people. Sometimes, getting to do other groups that I lead called the Dave King Trucking Company and my trio. And I play with Tim Byrne a lot and Chris Speed and other people that I work with regularly. I don't know, whatever. That's who I am. I also play some pop and rock music as well and all different kinds of music, but I'm going to do some improvising for everyone today, a kind of a solo concert. I'm going to play a couple of drum vignettes, and then maybe take a question or two if that's possible. And then I might close out the concert tonight with some piano playing. I use piano mostly as a compositional tool. I'm not really a professional level pianist and never really claimed to be. That didn't stop me from making a record where I play piano and then play drums, playing my own music called Indelicate on the Sunnyside label that came out in 2010. And I was notified by when they used to keep track of sales of records 100 so years ago. I was notified during one sales quarter report that I sold 1 copy of Indelicate in North Korea. I've always thought I had an outreach, and I'm going to improvise a little bit of some drumming. I hope it sounds okay, and then I want to say thank you to Lattice Concerts and Elsa and everyone that's tuning in. And thank you for being interested at all in me. I'll do my best to create some sort of musical experience for everyone. And that's all I've got for you right now. I'm going to play a tiny bit. I'm gonna do I thought would be fun is if I did motifs on some songs that I play with different people. So one piece I'm going to play a motif from and then work from that and improvise maybe off of it is a Craig Taborn piece called New Glory, off of a record we made called Daylight Ghosts, Craig Taborn's ECM record from a few years ago, with Chris Lightcap on bass, Craig Taborn on keyboards and piano, of course, and Chris Speed, one of my great musical pals who I play a lot with in his trio. I'm going to do a Chris Speed song after this, but this is called New Glory. It's a kind of a fun, weird Craig Taborn style figure that's kind of fun for drums. I don't quite know what time signature it's in. I never question. Craig just says it goes like this, and then you can go like that, and you can do like that with it. And I go, oh yeah, sounds good. I'll just go like this, and I'll go like that. And then 6 or 7 months later, I start to be able to understand it. But I'm going to play a little bit of New Glory for you. And thank you again. I'm going to mute this. All right. I'm imagining roars of applause right now. A lot of people say they don't do it for that. I do. Anyway, that was a motif of Craig's that is an odd rhythm. And then I improvised off of it for anyone keeping score, but kind of keeping a polyrhythmic approach of layering different ways of playing on top of that, which included a foot pattern I've been working on. It's going to be fun to even play a little bit of. A fun, nerdy thing is this odd foot pattern I've been doing things with. I'll play it a little faster. But anyway, the basic rhythm of the Craig tune, New Glory, for anyone who cares, goes like this. It's just like, I was playing at the end and I played at the very beginning. That's a really unique piece of music of Craig's. Craig's music is so unique if you know his music. And he and I grew up together actually in Minneapolis, where I am now, with my CDs and my soft water. Minneapolis has some hard water, let me tell you. Yeah, some tough neighborhoods too, actually. It's far grittier than where New York is these, I suppose not recently, but anyway, Craig grew up near me, and Reed Anderson of the Bad Plus and I and Craig Taborn grew up within a mile of each other. And we started playing together on and off when we were 14 years old. I actually met Craig when I was 12. That's this little story that for anyone who cares. And a lot of his music deals with odd meters, but in a way that's very good, very soulful, feels very good. That's what I like about it. there's a way of a high musicality happening, not a sort of like, check it out, look what I can do type mathematics. And he creates these negative space melodies within these time signature figures, odd time figures and integers that he sticks together in modular systems that are very interesting. I don't pretend to know. It's almost like you'd be working with an incredible director if you were an actor or something, and you're a great actor on your own, like Jack Nicholson is dealing with Stanley Kubrick in The Shining or something. He's not going to sit there and be like, yeah, well, what I know about the methods of blah, blah. It's like Stanley Kubrick's talking to him, he's probably going to listen. I think of Craig that way. I think everybody thinks of Craig that way. I just listen to him at rehearsals and I go, I think I understood what he said. He said something about an integer negative space relationship. Sounds good. I'm going to go and eat a Reuben, and then I'm going to come back and deal with that. Right, softwatery? Right, softwater thing? I'm pretending it's Craig looking over my shoulder. No, Dave, that's not it. That's not it. All right, why not play another thing from another group that I play in that I can think of? The foot pattern goes kind of fun. If you're a drum nerd, the foot pattern is kind of fun. And I've been teaching, actually, again. I should mention this because I got a couple students dealing with this. I try to teach in this way that's not riff-based and not sort of useless independence-based. I teach more of just like talking about some ideas and then try to make things people improvise within these situations. This is one of them. It's kind of fun. This foot pattern I like is not that difficult. It's just what you do with it on top of it to make it musical is fun, and it is kind of difficult. And it's just if you count 1, 2, 3, 4 with your foot, and your bass drum's playing that kind of triplet figure. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you play on top. You can have fun in your basement when you have nothing else to do. Sorry I'm so out of breath. I was jumping rope before this to get myself psyched up for it. And then I poured myself a glass of very cheap wine in a Minnesota Vikings glass. And I thought, gosh, it's kind of early for me to have any wine. I don't do well if I drink wine or anything. I don't drink anything other than wine as far as alcohol, but if I have a little bit of wine too early, I'll be asleep by 8 and I'll miss my favorite television program, the 8 o'clock news. If you're not hip to the 8 o'clock news, it's a vibe. Because it sits in between the 6 o'clock and the 10 o'clock in this weird way, and there's just like, all of a sudden there's like a camera on in a room and there's somebody in there just kind of going like this, and that's half the time it barely works, and someone is in there just going like this. And there was somebody got jacked out by the Block's Dairy on Golden Valley Road near Plymouth. Somebody got jacked. And that's the kind of shit you hear on the 8 o'clock news. Stuff you hear on the 8 o'clock news. Shoot. Stuff you hear on the 8 o'clock news. Anyway, I'm going to play a little bit more for you all. Should I take a question? Maybe I'll play a tiny bit of brushes. And if there are any questions, I hope this is entertaining. I hope the drums sound good. Yeah. Anyway, I've been teaching lately. The last few months I've been having a great time. I got a lot of cool students that have come in. You can take a lesson from me or multiple lessons. You can sign up on drums.study. Drums.study. www.drums.study. I've had many students over the last few months who are having a really good time. Book a lesson if you want. And this is what you'll see. Except for I'll be looking really closely at the camera and I'll be sort of a soft water a soft water. What do you call it, man? A soft water machine? Soft water. A water softener. I'll be the water softener of your life. You'll be sitting there trying to play. It'll be nerves, and I'll just be like this entity in the corner looking at you going, no, I don't know about that. Here's some brushes on top of that figure. was like an improvised thing, a motif of like I always like to just think about something musical, like when I'm playing by myself, and think of a melody. I just thought boo da boo da bom bom ba doo ba da ba bom bom. I better copyright that. That's a hook. Anyway, I'm going to move towards the camera now. You might all realize how insanely cut I am. It's because I do Insanity. And I do the original Insanity, which was actually when you have a difficult time registering what is okay and what isn't in reality. So I didn't actually do the workout Insanity. I did the thing where do the math on that. But I thought I would wear a coat. How do I look? All right, I'm sitting here, a bright light on me. What should I look at here? People are talking to themselves. One person says, hey, Chris. That's what I'm talking about. All I want to do is thank you. Justin Garcia said I'm very musical. I appreciate that, Justin. Where'd you buy the kick drum hoops? Yeah, isn't this bass drum neat? This is a guy from California named Todd Plummer who made this drum set for me. He's a friend of mine. He's a great woodworker, a master woodworker, Todd Plummer. And he had a drum company called TP Drums that he was doing for a while. And I think he still does it, but he's a master. And this drum has these great hoops. And he made all these 3 drums out of different wood. So every drum on the kit is different wood. There's that. Great. We all need. You're a very mustache. I shaved the mustache a few days ago. My son looked at me and literally was like, whoa. I usually have some chin whiskers at least, and then actually a lot of times a beard, but I was just thinking about like doing a mustache. I'm going to do this. Okay. Are you coming to St. Louis in January? I hope so. Chris Morrissey's on here. They sound good. Drew Hewitt. My student Drew Hewitt, who's a great composer, so glad you're enjoying. If you would like to send Dave a trip, you can find him at Vimeo. A tip. Oh, a tip. If you want to send Dave a trip, man. I was like, dang. Lattice concerts. All right, so this is going on now. I've got another half hour. And I wanted, thanks for the return to Rational Funk. Yes, if anybody's interested, Rational Funk, my life instruction, drum instruction video series came back. I don't know how to hold the computer. Came back with a vengeance today. We've been retired from, we kind of retired the show. We did it for a year and a half from 2015 to mid-2016. Actually, 4 years ago, May 2016. And we thought we kind of said it all with the 60 episodes. Like we said it all. It was more like, my gosh, this is taking a lot of time. And so, sorry, I get distracted sometimes from thinking, but, we did, 60 episodes, and then we thought to ourselves, let's close it down. And then, during this, pandemic and the situation everyone's dealing with, we decided to attempt it after it felt comfortable enough here to be able to at least be in a studio together. We went to an isolated studio that no one was in for a few weeks, Joe Johnson and I, and we did the distancing thing, and we did, he was actually quite far away from me the entire time. And we just tried to honor all the codes and everything, and we did a series of a couple blocks of filming, and we've been editing. And we released the first one today. I hope everybody who saw it enjoyed it. That's on YouTube under the Rational Funk channel. You can also go to rationalfunk.tv. I'm doing some plugs here. But anyway, I hope it sounds okay. Can somebody tell me how it sounds when I'm playing with this concert? Does it sound okay? I don't have a microphone. In fact, I can tell you a little bit about my operation right now. I'm what they call a Luddite, and I have a dictaphone that was actually designed by Dieter Ram, the great industrial designer. I'm a nerd for kind of industrial design things and design things in general. This is an actual pop shop, the original pop shop in New York, Keith Haring's shop. That's an original bag from the period, so the mid-'80s. I'm very inspired by a lot of those neo-expressionist artists. And let's see. Oh, man. I was just doing some reading the other day. I was thinking about doing some light reading. I was just like this, and I was just like thinking to myself, what? What the hell? Come on. All right, that wasn't planned at all. Um, you know, the painter Jean-Michel Basquiat, who's one of my great heroes, used to say he would write. He would, as soon as he wrote the word gold on his paintings, he made it big. So I was like, it's a name it to claim it. So I just sent Modern Drummer, basically some of the writers there. I sent them an email just saying, why the hell have I never been on the cover of that damn magazine? And they go, okay. I, of course, knew the reason why I haven't been on the cover of that magazine, but they did it anyway. Lucky me. All right, I'm going to try and play a little bit more. I love seeing people communicating with each other, though. Is that what people do with these things? Hey, Chris, can you come over and bring me that video game can you bring me the copy of, are video games, are they large pieces of art anymore? Like where they have put a cartridge in? You're a Nintendo person? Do they put a cartridge in video games? I used to play Pitfall in 1984 at a friend of mine's house and drink Pepsi. All right. I'm going to play a little bit more, if that's okay. And then I'm going to play a tiny bit of piano. All right. I'm going to put this here. I really appreciate anybody's, tuning in. I wore a suit coat. Let's get a view of me here. All right. Here, let's do it over here. How am I looking? All right. And I have a glass of wine here. I took one sip of it. It was a little bit of an airline wine quality, like Coach, which is where I sit if I get to fly anywhere. But I want everyone to notice the Minnesota Vikings. You might have heard of that team in the little song by, what's her name? Lizzo. When she says Minnesota Vikings. Hey, let's tilt this up a little bit here. Now, you might have your thoughts and feelings about the NFL. Of course, it's a maniacally low vibrating nightmare. And they hold people, they hold like cities hostage to build stadiums, and it's insane. And the way they've treated Colin Kaepernick is freaking nightmare, and everything about it is lame. I used to play some football. And the Minnesota Vikings in the 70s were a thing for anyone from Minnesota. If anybody is from Minnesota listening to this, or is everyone already tuned out? But I'm going to do this for a reason, because I have wait, it's the other arm. I don't know. I have a Minnesota Vikings tattoo. And for me it was a lot of connecting to my youth. That's why it's the old colors. This is actually from the 60s, these colors and its original logo. And kind of connecting with my, dad and all the stuff that goes, all the Freudian relationships anybody has with anything. And I played football actually quite seriously into high school. And I loved it. I had like 85 concussions and the whole nightmare, and I just enjoyed it a lot. So anyway, I'm a fan of the Minnesota Vikings. I just have to admit it. I am. Anyway, I'm going to play a tiny bit more. I hope it's okay. I hope everybody's enjoying this, and I'll play a tiny bit of piano when I'm done with this. Okay, I'm going to do this. You ready? By the way, I've never been used to sitting here and talking about, I hope it's okay if I'm mentioning anything that I'm interested in. I know that sounds like I'm really not used to talk, but it's odd. It's odd to sit here and talk about things like your water softener and Minnesota Vikings. What's Lizzo, Mississippi, and the Minnesota Vikings? When I first heard that tune, I was in a cab in Europe on tour, and that song came on, and I remember Lizzo playing shows in front of 8 people about 4 years ago in Minneapolis, for real. And it was like, I think Lizzo, I have a band called Halloween Alaska. Look it up, please, Halloween Alaska. Check out that band if you haven't. It's a band I've had for 15 years. It's like an arty synth band. There's 5 records out there. But anyway, I remember Lizzo playing before us, like 2 bands before us on a bill at a bowling alley. But it was like a hipster bowling alley show, where it's like, I'm playing the blah blah bowl, like the Brooklyn Bowl in New York, where I played with the Bad Plus, and I almost threw myself out of a 3-story window. I was so depressed because people were bowling during my artwork. Anyway, Lizzo played like at 7 o'clock in front of like a cricket like that was riding on a tumbleweed, and then Lizzo was on stage. She had a band with some other great talented ladies. What were they called? I can't remember. Anyway, she blew up, and I heard that song, Mississippi in the Minnesota Vikings. And I heard that on the radio, on the cab, and I was like, hell yeah, Minnesota Vikings in a pop song. I was so excited. I called my children. I'm like, what is that? They're like, it's Lizzo, okay? All right. I'm going to play a little bit off that. Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings. Switch elegantly into one of those Chris Beat tunes. This will be a Balkan version of that Lizzo song from Minnesota Vikings. Ooh, I shouldn't have taken that 6-hour Pilates class earlier today. Man, I am wiped. song is called, shoot, I can't remember. It's off of his last record, Chris Speed's record, Respect for Your Toughness. Chris Speed Trio. I'm not really plugging things, I'm just thinking of things to say. But that's a heck of a song. When you play with Chris Speed, you have to be able to play 11 in every kind of feel and every kind of way of dividing it. And that's his thing, because it's just like, he lives in that situation. And by being a part of his trio over the last 8 years or so, 7 or 8 years, I've done 3 records, and it's been a great training to feel those feels, odd time feels, and especially 11 and 15, in a fun way. I'm not all about that, by the way. I would like to just play some beats too. But that's a fun one to practice, is playing 11 like that, up tempo. And if you can leave spaces and rests. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Space, you know? Leave some space and lose your place in the beat. Can I play a triplet with it? That song, I can't remember the name of it. It's on Respect for Your Toughness. He has different variations of that kind of feel that are really fun to play on the drums. I hope this is interesting for anyone. I wonder if I can think of one more tune that's a weird one. There's a Happy Apple tune called, shoot, I can't remember because of the 5G network. It's already making my memory into like a bowl of cream corn. It's just like my memory's like, and you are, I'm your son. Yeah, sure. What do you need? Some money? If you're ever forgetting who your children are, ask if they need money. Ask if the person claiming that they're your child needs money, and if they say yes, you know right away it's your child. That's what I've been doing lately. I look at my son and I go, whoa, you are getting big. You're my son? And he's like, yeah, I need money. Oh, it is! And I give him a big hug. I'm gonna play it. What was I gonna play? A Happy Apple tune called Rise Mark Anthony. There's an end section of this tune that's really hard. I haven't played it in a while. I hope this matters to anyone. If it doesn't, I hope this is fun just to hang out. I didn't even have any of that wine yet. I think I had 1 sip of that wine. It's not good. I don't know what it is, but they're not going to get a good plug from me. Okay, here we go. I haven't played this in a long time. It's hard. Woo! Obsessed with these display 16th note stuff. Hey man, Happy Apple was doing that in 1973, opening up for Return to Forever. You should have heard us back then. It was like, oh really? Want to fill some space with some display 16th notes? We got it. I can't even do it anymore. everybody go. I used to do this. Tell a quick story. The Bad Plus was playing Blue Note in New York City. I suppose this was 6 or 7 years ago now. The great drummer Questlove came to the show. And we had heard that he used to play a song of ours every now and again in his DJ sets. And that was, of course, wonderful to feel acknowledged by such a great musician and a great drummer and a very cool person. And he came to see us at the Blue Note, very, very recognizable. And he was sitting right in front by himself. And it was like, okay, Questlove is here, no pressure. And we played, and it was really fun. He came backstage. I'm just thinking about that because he plays beats like that so great. And he came backstage, which is the upstairs room that smells like dead mice. And sorry, sorry about that. He says so about it's a lot better now, okay? And he came to the door and opened the door and came in. We were so happy, and he was so nice. And I don't know, I just thought about that just now. Questlove came to see us, and then he's a big Twitter scene, and he tweeted about it. Is that how you say it? Tweeted about it a bunch of days after. For a few days, he kept talking about the show. And that was a big moment to get to show my children. I have to say, my kids love D'Angelo, and they were like, and I'm like, I'm not just this doofus that has my pants hanging down when I try to fix the garbage disposal. I also am no Questlove, sort of. And they're like, really? And I go, yeah, look at the Twitter account of Questlove, and there it was. I'm just saying, that stuff goes a long way when you have children that don't appreciate you. I have 7 minutes left. I don't know, should I look at 1 or 2 questions? I'm going to try and play a tiny bit of piano for the last part of the lessons. Rational Funk is back on. I'm teaching at www.drums.study. I have my coat. And can everybody hear me okay? And I've just been appreciating anyone being here. Street cred, stepping over mice. Hooray. Also doing some drinking over here. Everyone, okay. This is my, gonna play some piano coat. I got this on mega sale. Gant in New York in the Village, the Gant shop, which is usually really expensive. I just walk by it and I go, I don't want to feel bad about myself not being able to buy even the sales rack shit stuff. And they had this pop-up sale. I didn't even know about it. I just walked by and they were selling everything for nothing. It was like $10 for a suit coat. Unbelievable. I'm going to attempt to play a tune of mine called April and Gary, which is a little bluesy, actually a little bit more like a Midwest folk, Missouri style thing. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Minnesota. You see big trucks driving around everywhere. You grow up and you have semi-trucks driving by. And the truck drivers all wave. They go, hey,
kiddo, and then they pop a few pep pills, as they called them back then. And, you have a grandfather or something who lights fireworks. He gives you a lit cigarette to light fireworks with. That's what I had. He was from North Dakota. And, some earthy people. My father was born on a farm. And my grandfather was a sharecropper. And my dad and mom listened to old country music and old 50s rock and roll. They danced 50s rock and roll. Anyway, so in my playing and in my music, I use tropes of old country and old rock and roll stuff. If you hear some of my music, if you care at all, that will appear in almost every tune in some variety. But anyway, and then I make jokes about this all the time, but I grew up playing in the church, but it's hilarious because it's the Lutheran church. Anyway, can you turn the snares off for me real quick? And so I appreciate that. I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to finish this show. I'm going to try and play as much of this as I can. I haven't played in a long time. I hope it's okay. Thank you for anyone who is joining me for my concert. Thank you to Elsa and Lattice Concerts. Any friends that have shown up, any strangers that have shown up, I appreciate everyone listening. I wish everyone the best at all times. And it goes without saying, you don't have to be a Vikings fan to be a friend of mine. I'm here. And this is called April and Gary. I'm not going to play the bridge because I can't remember it. But anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Okay, I got one more minute. Thank you again. Thanks for listening, anybody who cares. And you're all very sweet to tune in. Drums.study if you want to take a lesson or a 10. And rationalfunk.tv. Rational Funk is back for a limited 15-episode run every Tuesday. Thank you to Elsa and everyone. Thanks to Chris Morrissey for telling me about this as well. Great bass player, one of my beautiful friends. Thanks to anyone who left comments. I think I'll try and look at some of those. I tend not to look at comments. I'm too scared. All right. Anybody wants to play football? I'm in Minnesota. We can play touch football. We can play tackle. It doesn't matter to me anymore. All right. Everyone, take it easy. Bye.